copy of today's recording, understand you'll get that about 24 hours later. So it takes that much time to be able to render the recording, especially depending on how busy the platform is today. I'm giving you that fair warning so you don't have to worry about emailing me this afternoon saying, did you forget about me? Haven't forgotten about you. If you've commented in the question box, you don't even have to say anything but a comment or a shout out to the Google partner that invited you or to your location. The system's picking it up, picking up the email that you actually registered with, and it will send it to you, as I said, in 24 hours. So we've got Mildred, Novella, Marie, Stacy, welcome. Tyra's here, and Marie, oh, wonderful, with LSC Tombo, welcome. This is me. I have the great opportunity of actually working with a lot of small businesses. I have 18 years of small business background, but I've also worked with people who are transitioning from military life to civilian life, be it that they're a military spouse, family member, or the actual military service person as well, who is now transitioning either to a job or to a small business. So I'm very, very familiar with being able to apply online. In fact, I started my career a long, long time ago when I was 21 years old as a human resource person doing a lot of hiring and firing with the H-E-B grocery company. So those of you who know H-E-B, who are in the Texas area, then you know how large a company is. And then you know when we're opening up a store, I would be the one that would come in and actually look at 500 plus resumes because we had to 5,000 plus resumes because we had to hire 500 people. So I do want to let you know I have this experience. Plus I just hired somebody a couple of weeks ago, an engineer. So I'm still active with that in the remote team that I work with that is worldwide. I still actively search, and we are about to post about a creative director that we need. So I look at resumes, and I'm very much keeping up to date with what is happening in the job application and the resume world. And today we are going to be talking about those practical strategies. So let's get going, everybody. All right, everybody can see my screen. Just let me know in the question box that you can see the screen. I do want to make sure that you're just not seeing my talking head, because it's more important that you see the information in front of you than to see my head. In fact, if internet acts wonky, because we can't control the internet, I will go off camera, but my voice is here. I'm actually live, real time. This is it. You'll hear me cough. You'll hear everything. This is not recorded, okay? So yes, I can see the screen. Wonderful. Erica, thank you. Thank you so much. Lolita, Vanessa, Caroline, thank you. All right, Mildred, perfect. All right, everybody, we're going to be talking about improving your resume with practical strategies. And again, to access closed caption, just use this link. If you want to learn anything about what you can learn and some of the free things available to you through Google, go right here to google.com/grow. If you are tweeting or posting, use the hashtag grow with Google. It doesn't just let all your connections know that you're leveling up your skills, but it also lets the Google team know that you like this information. It encourages them to create more, which is what I love. If you want to tag me, you can tag me here on Twitter. That's my Twitter handle, or on Instagram right here. I'll share you in my stories. I'll repost you. Those who have done this before know that I'll absolutely do that. All right, perfect. Holly here with the Alpha Kappa Alpha Omega chapter. Good morning, Diana. Welcome. Tia, Monica, Lydia, thank you for the feedback. So now I need to ask you a question. Find that question box because I need your answer in there. How much time on average do you think somebody actually spends looking at a resume? Okay, think about that. How much time do you think they actually spend really looking at it? Let me know in the question box how much time. Okay, we've got some people, 5 minutes. Boy, that seems to be the popular one right now. Ooh, now we've got 2 minutes coming in, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 and 2 minutes. There's a little bit of battle happening between that because a lot of people are saying that. Hello, Fatima, I do see you from Alpha Kappa Omega. Thank you for being here. All right, 30 seconds, 5 minutes. A glance, look over, Vanessa. Okay, let me see. 4 minutes. All right, everybody, get your guesses in because I'm about to tell you how much time. 6 to 7 seconds. That's it. 6 to 7 seconds is all on average that a recruiter, a supervisor, a manager, a business owner, the decision maker will make looking at the resume. Let me dispel myth number one first in a resume. The resume will not sell you. You're not going to send your resume in and all of a sudden they're going to call you and say, you're hired, let's go. There is going to be a process. The resume's job is to get you the appointment. It is to get an interest enough in the person who's reviewing the resume to say, I need this person to tell me more. I need to understand a little bit more about this. This is interesting. This seems like this could be somebody that could be a good fit. It needs to be able to instill that feeling for the next step. So it is not going to sell you 100%. It is also myth number 2. It is not your autobiography. It is your highlight reel. Okay. This is going to help you if you keep that in mind as you look at your resume and try to keep it very succinct and brief so that somebody in 6 and 7 seconds will see it and not be overwhelmed with the information. So today we're going to observe a variety of resumes. We're going to learn 4 different strategies that you can use to improve your resume, and then we're also going to create a checklist of the resume strategies. And as I said, this is being recorded right now. So you'll get a copy. You can slow me down, speed me up, repeat it however you need. It'll happen. You'll get it in 24 hours from right now. But understand, for the Q&A part, I turn off the recording. The Q&A part is only for the people attending live at the event. So I just want to let you know that I'm not going to be recording the Q&A, and it's also for your privacy, but I do want to let you know that's why I'm not recording that portion. But also, know that if you want a copy of today's slides, if you'll comment in the question box, not only will you get a copy of this actual recording, but you'll get a copy of today's slides. And you might want to follow along like a checklist, especially this particular slide deck, because it's so, to me, it really goes and walks through the 4 strategies very, very well. And you want that with you, because while you could follow along with me on a video, that's going to be even more helpful as you're actually putting your resumes and the different kind of resumes you're going to create. Because you do need, myth number 3 is that you just need one resume. No, you need several different resumes, several renditions of your resume. So this is going to help you with that, okay? Now I do see, oh, absolutely. You don't even have to say about you'd like a copy or putting your email address there. The system does pick that up that you've commented, and it will make sure that it sends it to the email that you registered with. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Remember what we said about 6 to 7 seconds, okay? That's all we've got. So because a lot of people don't understand how 6 to 7 seconds feels, and I've got to bring up my phone here because that's always my handy dandy stopwatch. We're going to go through an exercise, which is we're going to look at some resumes. We're going to sit in the seat of and walk in the shoes of a supervisor, a business owner, a recruiter, right? That first person that's going to take a look at that resume that you've got 6 to 7 seconds to get them to say, I want them to tell me more, and set that resume aside. Now you're going to physically see me do that. That's also happening digitally, just so you know. I'm also going to teach you how you can get past some of those filters to be able to be one of the resumes looked at, because sometimes digitally, especially if you're submitting a resume there's an automatic filter that is looking for certain things. So we're going to talk about how you can get past that filter and make sure you're aligned with what they're looking for, getting that opportunity for them to say, tell me more. Deal? All right, everybody, let's go. Think about yes or no. That's all I need in the question box, but I will tell you when 6 to 7 seconds passes by. So you're going to see a resume flash in front of your screen. You'll have 6 to 7 seconds to answer in the question box and let me know yes or no. Would you want this person to tell you more, right? All right, ready? Let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, before we do that, one last thing, we need to know what the job description is, right? We can't just look at any old resume because we don't like generic resumes. They do have to be customized for the position that you're actually applying for. So this is the only time I will read from the screen, but I do want to make sure we all see the importance of each area of this job description. And you need to be able to read your job descriptions like this. I'll teach you that in just a moment, how to be able to slow down to really pick up some keywords from there. So we seek a high performer to join our sales team. The successful candidate will be a responsible, motivated sales associate with proven experience. This person will manage the entire sales cycle, identifying sales needs, locating and expanding new markets, designing and delivering sales presentations, and presiding over negotiations. You will build and maintain expertise about, let me see, my camera's covering that, about a range of company products and services to meet or exceed personal and departmental sales goals. You'll need excellent business acumen, right? To be able to, excellent customer skills, an entrepreneurial worldview and business acumen, and a professional sales philosophy. Okay, my camera bar got in the way there, so I couldn't see, but that's the resume. I mean, that's the job description we're looking at. So let's launch into the resumes. Remember, 6 to 7 seconds, everybody. Ready? I'm gonna start the timer as soon as I switch the screen. Let's go. Stop. All right. Got a lot of no's here. People are saying no, 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 no. Oh my gosh, it's majority. No, no, no. You're very welcome, Posha, very welcome. Okay, It's a resounding majority. The entire room said no. Okay, let's take a look at this resume a little bit closer. Let's see what Asha is doing. So the strengths of Asha's resume are, first, the separation of the different skills. You can see this here. There are clear headings. So it's nice to be able to see those nice and clear, that there's skills, that there's experience that Asha has pulled out. What we also see here is a lot of white space and wide margins. This is very important because remember, eyes are looking at this. And if you're looking at this on a 4.5-inch screen, a mobile device, then you don't want to see a whole bunch of words clustered together because now you can't see anything. It's too much, it's overwhelming. We need white space to be able to breathe, to be able to take in the information that we just saw, to highlight information. So do keep this in mind. Remember when I said about the myth is that your resume is your autobiography, it's the highlight reel. This will help you if you keep this in mind to make everything on your resume pertain to the particular job that you're applying for, all right? Now, some of the things that Asha does have opportunities to work on in the resume are, first, to build a relevant summary. All right, remember the job description that we read, and remember what I said about resumes. There's not just a one-size-fits-all. It is absolutely customized job description or the position. So as we see here, we're looking for a sales representative, and she talks about she's worked in childcare, basic web design. So, you know, and bookkeeping may or may not apply. Of course, if you're looking at your sales numbers, that may apply. There could be a connection there. But some of the other positions there that she's talking about, or skill sets, may not apply to this particular job. Remember, not an autobiography. This is the highlight reel, and it needs to match what they're looking for. Okay, customized to every resume or to every job description. What's another opportunity here from Asha? Let's see. Can tailor the experience to the position. Again, we see that she organized for the public school research assistant. Tailor the experience to the position. While you can describe what the position is, and it's important for you to do that because a lot of us have our own definition of different positions, and you don't want to rely on somebody else's past experience to define what your actual position is. You need to describe that in detail, but the best job you can do is describe it in detail and connect it with what they're looking for. So when you make that connection, there is that little spark to tell me more. You get that interest in the 6 to 7 seconds that you have available to you. All right, oops, before we go to Adam, let me reset my clock here, my timer. All right, ready, everybody? Let's look at Adam's resume. Stop, yes or no? All right, right now, the feeling in the room is no, no, no. All no's, everybody's going for no. All right, wonderful. We're majority no. Let's talk about what are some of the strengths that we see in Adam's resume, because we do see a lot of that good white space there. So there's a lot of room to breathe. So we see that he does a great job showing his skills and accomplishments. You see that pulled out there. There's a good title there. It's easy to read. That does stand out as far as that title goes. But the opportunities that Adam actually has in the resume is to describe the role and responsibility. I just mentioned that, right? If you are going to rely on somebody's past experience with an actual position, now you're defined by that, by their window and their perception. And it may not be a true connection to what it is that you did in that position. So explain what it is that you did in that position specifically, because you know, I don't know what a senior software engineer does. Maybe I need specific details. I could be the first line of people looking at a resume, and I know I'm supposed to look for specific skills, but I don't know that software engineer has that skills. That isn't a part of my background and experience. So I might put this resume aside because I don't realize that they really do have the skills needed for this position. And understand, resumes are coming like crazy. So we put out for a website developer a couple of weeks ago, and as soon as we sent that out, that actual job application, I mean, we posted it several places, posted in LinkedIn. Within the first minute, we received 72 resumes. By the first 15 minutes, we were up at 154 resumes. By then, if you didn't apply in the first 15 minutes, I wasn't looking at any more resumes except for the first 154. I had to get down and get other things done, right? We've got business to take care of. So keep that in mind, that it is timing is everything. And that's why I'm teaching you these strategies. So you have all of these ready at the get-go, and you're ready to apply and make sure that you are using timing to your advantage. So describe those roles and responsibilities. Yes, yes, everybody, I'm good. Glad you see that well. All right, the next thing that we're also seeing here with the resume opportunities is the opportunity to keep the details consistent and the experience consistent. Remember, customize to that particular position. I always know when people are not doing that because they overwhelm in their resume. They try to jam everything in, or they have a 3-page resume. Understand, I have been out of college. I graduated back about 30 years ago. So I have a plethora of things I can put on my resume. If I was applying for a marketing director or a head of sales, I have a lot of things that I can put there. But there are certain things that I'm proudest of, that I had the biggest accomplishments, that I would put on my resume if all I had is 6 to 7 seconds to capture somebody's attention. Okay, next resume, everybody. 6 or 7 seconds, let's go. Oops, didn't switch, did it? Hold on. Let me clear that out. There we go. Let's go back to, ooh, not playing friendly. Here we go. There we go. All right, 6 to 7 seconds. Stop. Yes or no? Ooh, Titus gets some of our first yeses. Maybe it's because Titus is in Houston. But some yeses, some nos. So we're split. We're in split on this one. Yes, no, yes, no. It's fun. It's funny because it's coming in like that. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And maybe. I see a maybe. I do see you. The maybe and the LOL. I love it. All right, let's take a look at Titus's resume and bring it a little closer to us to see what are some of the strengths and some of the weaknesses from Titus. All right, so one of the strengths of Titus is that Titus does have nice readable language. Remember, people are 6 to 7 seconds while they're getting text messages coming in, something's coming, they're getting a ping in from their Google chat or maybe from Slack, something's coming in here, somebody's talking to them, they're distracted while they're reviewing resumes. That's normal. So keep that in mind. Are you making the language nice and simple? It's not because we're stupid, it's because we are inundated with so much all at one time. Now, what are some of the things that Titus can do on his resume to make it a little bit better? Well, including a photo is not required most of the time in the USA. Now in Asia and some of Europe, yes, it is required. So do keep in mind where you are applying to. If you're applying to Asia and Europe, then it is expected in many places, especially in Asia, it's expected to include your photo. But if you're going to include a photo, include a professional photo, right? We're looking here and we've got a photo that would be great for his Instagram profile, Twitter, but not for a resume, all right? Especially, this is a sales representative. This is your brand on the ground, belly to belly with your customer. Is this who you want to be there? And do you really need this? So do keep that in mind. Look and see if they require the photo. Most of the time in the USA, they do not. Remove typos, everybody. Your resume, this is the highlight reel. If you cannot be at your best right here and show that you've got tremendous work ethic, that you're going to be meticulous and not make mistakes, you're going to carry the brand forward how they expect, then you need to, at the very least in your resume, get it right. Typos will not get you anywhere. We know, those of us who are in the recruiting and hiring positions know that you can look great. You can stand on your tippy toes for 30 minutes to an hour, great. But if you can't even do things there, if you can't be at your best there, what are you going to be like on the job? Okay. So remove those typos, avoid the distracting colors, everybody. This is maybe great for something that you're doing and you're posting on a caption on Instagram, but it sure doesn't work on a resume. So look at the fonts that you're using. Are they easy and readable? Remember, 6 to 7 seconds. You've got to capture their attention. It's too hard to read. They're going next to the next resume. Also, the colors, no more than 2 colors is what I recommend on a resume, because you want to highlight what your experience is and not for them to be confused or struggling with the colors because of, maybe color blindness or even just anything. It's just too much. It could be too distracting for the eye. So keep that in mind too. All right. Are we ready for the next resume? Titus might have a chance. I love it. I love it. You may have that. All right, everybody, next resume, 6 to 7 seconds. I'll wait till it flashes on your screen. There we go. All right, stop. Yes or no, everyone? Immediately no, too busy. Oh, there's some strong no's here. See, there's some feeling behind these no's. There's no's with exclamation marks, no's with 4 exclamation marks, lots of no's, all cap no's, not enough white space. Exactly, Jemiah, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. Not enough white space. That is a super busy resume. Let's talk about where Jason has some strengths in the resume, okay? So appropriate font, that is a good, nice, easy to read font. So it does make it nice and easy when we can see, and there's some consistency with the font. So he does win in that aspect, but let's go into the opportunities, shall we? So as we look at the opportunities, there is not enough white space there. That is some jam-packed information. Now imagine seeing this on an iPad, tablet, or a 4.5-inch phone screen. And how excited are you for this? Okay. Also, do keep in mind that the 2-column format went away a while ago when we went primarily mobile. Know that people 76% go to their mobile device first for anything. And the 2-column format, even in newsletters, is so early 2000. It is not now at all. You do need to keep it all as one here, or if you're going to separate it out, it could be the headlines, but not like this. He's got all this information here. So he's just crowding up that resume so much, making it super hard to read. Remove any irrelevant experiences. If you walk away with anything today, this is your highlight reel, not your biography. All right? You don't need this detail. They didn't ask for his Twitter, Instagram account, or his website account. Now, he may be showing that because he wants to show, hey, I'm also pretty well versed in digital marketing. I can connect digitally, but there are other places he can say that, not in this way. That's taking valuable space to get the tell me more. In fact, he could say that when he's actually in an interview. Let's get to that next step, right? This is super crowded. Remember what I said about the 2-column just not being something that is easy to the eyes at all? Oops, before we go to that one, anything else? Anybody want to make any comments on Jason before we leave Jason? We're about to look at the next resume. Is this helpful to you, by the way? I hope it's helpful. All right. Let's go. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Let's look at the next resume. Ready? Wait till it gets on the screen. There we go. There. Start. All right, stop. 6 to 7 seconds. Yes to Leanna or no? Oh, now the room likes Leanna. Oh, a couple of no's, but majorities. No, a few more no's. Yes, no, yes, no. Better. Love that. Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Let's talk about Liana's strengths in her resume. She has a detailed summary. That's a really good summary. Now, you may not be able to see that really, really well. Let me see if I can help you out here. Ooh, let me hover over that. There we go. Ooh, it's a little bit hard even with that font just because it does get blurry, but seasoned business analyst with 6+ years experience increasing profitability for a Fortune 100 retailer seeking to employ analytical skills and management experience in a leadership role, hold a BBA from the University of Michigan. So that's a nice summary that does pertain to this particular position, okay? All right, where else is her strengths? There we go. Specific examples. She does give really specific examples. Created 14 comprehensive reports annually for executive review. Identified redundancies in client profiles, leading to an average annual savings of $37,000 per company. You see how she doesn't just say, I increased savings, but she puts a dollar amount with it that even makes her actual position stronger. It shows that she does accomplish something. It's not, I train team members, and a recruiter might be thinking that means one person, compared to I trained 200 team members with a variety of experiences. All of a sudden now you see over 8 years, now you see somebody with some rich experience that you might want to slow down and say, tell me more, okay? Let's look at our opportunities here though. What we do see is the font. You already heard me mention that a moment ago. It's a little bit hard to read even when I focused in on that, right? It's a little bit light there. So choose one that people can read easily on there. Oh, perfect. I'm glad this is helpful to you. I'm glad. Thank you everybody for the feedback. That's what I don't want to waste your time. I want this to help you get to the next level, to be able to get that resume that just every time it's getting everybody to say, tell me more. That's what I'm wanting to work with you here, and hope that's what the result is from today. Combined positions also in the same company. You see here, she's the business analyst with Deloitte, and then she's the senior business analyst. While she changed location from Vegas to San Diego, do keep this in mind that it's the same position. She just elevated that, and she can explain that in the actual description. So do know that you can combine those. Remember, highlight reel. So this is not a blow-by-blow account. That's on the application. You put blow-by-blow, you look and you talk about any open spots where you didn't have a position. So any gaps, that's where you chat about is in the application, but the resume is the highlight reel. Oops. Before we go on to the next one, I want everybody to get ready. Take a deep breath. Ready to go? All right, I'm glad it's helpful, Laura. Thank you for the feedback. We're going to take a look here at Ibrahim. Ready? Let me bring that on the screen. Go. Stop. Yes or no to Ibrahim? Lots of no's, no, nope. Oop, few yeses. Shout out yeses. Big no's, capital yeses. No, but hard to read. So a little bit split, a little bit leaning towards the no. Let's talk about the strengths of Ibrahim's resume. First, he does have a good professional photo. But remember, here in the US, more than likely, you don't have to send a photo. If he was applying to Asia, he's spot on. That's the right kind of photo. And some of the places in Europe too require this. Lots of good space, white space, good layout, gives you a lot of breathing room to really consume what's on the page. But some of the opportunities that Ibrahim can work on is proofread, 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 everyone. This is your best work, your absolute best work. And if you are trying to get the best job and you can't even proofread, what are you going to do on the job? That's the question the recruiter or the decision maker is thinking. All right. Other than that, I think he's done really, really good. So let's talk about some of the common resume mistakes that we've seen here. A little bit hard to read. I agree with you, Jamea. I agree. So Ibrahim has a good resume, but a little bit hard to read there. But really does a good job laying it out. Now, understand that graphic and web designer might not be the perfect alignment for this particular position, but if he's going for graphic and web design, this gives them an opportunity to show a little bit of his creativity, utilizing some different colors, using different color paper, and the way he lays it out, he does provide you with the immediate information. He might have his portfolio here, so if he was going for this position, he's perfectly aligned. For a sales director position or sales manager, maybe not, okay? So let's talk about the common mistakes. We've talked about not enough info, so relying on the title of your actual position to be able to explain everything. Let's not do that because we don't know somebody's past experience with that. I know it all the time because whenever I teach people about how to introduce themselves and I say, hey, if I come into a room and I say, hey, I'm Maria Elena, I'm an IRS field agent, you had some feelings right then, as soon as I said it. If we were in person in a room where I could see your faces, I could see some definite frowns. As soon as I say I'm with the IRS, and I'm here to help, they don't want to hear that at all, right? So that's not the, remember, you're going on people's past experiences. So don't do that with your job titles and talking about your experience. Crowded or hard to understand. Again, some distractions there. And typos, everybody, proofread, proofread, proofread. If you need to bring somebody else to proofread, I encourage you to do that because a lot of times we're so familiar with our own work, we see it the correct way, even though on paper, it's not the correct way. Our brain adjusts and fixes it. And we all know, I'm guilty of it as well. I send something off, I can proofread it 26 times and even read it backwards because I try to do that to make sure my spelling's correct. And as soon as I send it off, that's when I see the big typo. So have somebody else take a look at it for you. Remember what we said too about photos, about colors. That's also important to keep in mind. Make it easy for the recruiter to say, tell me more, or the decision maker. And again, those typos, look everywhere for them. They hide everywhere. Now, what you can do to improve your resume is create a professional resume. The second thing you can do is highlight those skills and accomplishments. This is really important for you to focus on that because you know your actual experience and what you learned from that, what you can deliver to this position. Now, cite specific examples too. Remember what we saw when she put specific examples in there and said 37,000 is what she saved the company? That's really powerful when you have numbers like that. And the resume needs to be tailored. So you may have 12, 15, 20 different copies of your resume, right? It's not just one size fits all. So as we look at this, let's look at the format first. You want a good professional layout that works for you. You see Asha's using the traditional resume. Abraham, because he's a graphic and web designer, he's a little bit more creative. What's a good size for text? So good size for text is you don't want to go lower than 12-point font, not lower than that. 14-point is even better, but 12-point is still good because we can pinch and zoom if we need to. But a lot of people, because they're trying to cram everything in, Lydia, they'll put in like 10-point font or 8-point font, right? They really are trying to fit it in. Don't do that. I'm looking at the question box with 8-point font, telling you with resounding confirmation, don't do that. No, don't use 8-point font. Lots of white space. Remember, readable, not because we're stupid, it's because we're busy. So many things. Clear, very clear headlines. So make it easy for somebody to say, tell me more. Now, how many of you have used Google Docs? Because the animation is showing you how to use Google Docs. And the reason I bring this up is because I might have just overwhelmed you when I said you have to have 15, 20, 25 different kinds of resumes or renditions of your resumes. You might be thinking, holy cow. But you can do that easily in Google Docs. Have you used it? If you've used it, I'm not going to spend a lot of time in it there, but I will show it to you because you have it available to you free in your personal Gmail account. So you don't have to have a corporate Gmail account or your free Google account. So you can have access to that. Okay, I've used it. Oh, a couple of notes here. Let me show you what it looks like when you're in your personal Gmail account, okay? I'm going to throw this on screen real quick, get this bigger. This is my trainer demo account. I'm gonna make that real big because I'm broadcasting. This is what it looks like when you log into your personal Gmail account, right? You actually are in an email account. If you do not have a Gmail account and you don't want one because you have your own email, then you can still get a free Google account. I'll show you that in a moment, how you can get that. But what it will look like when you're going to your free Google account, it will look like this. So this is the screen that you'll start with. Let me make that bigger because I am broadcasting. Okay, so it'll look like this. What you're looking for in here to get to Google Docs is you're looking for the app keypad. It's right here. We trainers call it the app waffle, but you see it here. It looks like a keypad or a waffle. You click on that, and those are all the free apps that you have available into your free Google account. How you can get a free Google account is going to google.com/accounts, ACCOUNTS. So there's an S at the end, and it'll walk you through how to get an account. You'll use your current email address. It doesn't change it to Gmail. Create a password, and like any password protected site online, you'll use this to log in, your email address and the password. So this is what it looks like with a free Gmail or free Google account. If you do have a Gmail account, you already have access to everything. You will also go to the app keypad right up here, okay? That's what you need to do. You're going to go to Google Drive whenever you're in either one. It's the same for both, right? See that layout here, Google Drive, Google Drive. It's the primary color triangle. Click on Google Drive. When you click on Google Drive, let me make that bigger. When you click on Google Drive, you'll click New. You'll go to Google Docs, hover over the arrow here, and you can decide to start a blank document or from a template. If you want to click from a template, you can do that. A free template gallery will populate on your screen after it opened up another window, and you will see you have all these resume layouts that are free to you to use. So let's say we like, let me see, I'm just gonna play that I liked Asha's resume. So Asha's resume is the Swiss resume format. If I click here, it will bring it from the template gallery into my drive and automatically save it. So I have to do nothing else. It didn't change the template gallery. It just switched the window after it brought it into my drive, and it's now automatically saved into my drive. So now if I want to make several copies of the resume, I can by going File, Make a Copy, and now I can make as many copies as I like. So now you can have a resume for, I want to be a sales director, I want to be a sales manager, I want to be a marketing director, I want to be the office manager, I want to be head of market research. Whatever you want to do, you can customize it for the position that you're applying for by just making some small tweaks here instead of you having to create a resume every single time, okay? Now, Here's something I do want to make sure that you do no matter what platform you use, because you don't have to use Google to do this. If you love another platform, go for it, do it, but do have several copies of your resume customized to each position, because that's very important. That will make or break the opportunity to get to the next step. But the thing is, in any platform that you're using, make sure when you share your resume, you click File. Sorry, here in Google Docs, I'll show you how you're going to click File, and you're going to click Download. And you can see you can download it in any format, Word, Open Document, rich text. But if you're sharing it with a recruiter or uploading it for a position, PDF document is important, because that stands for Portable Document Format. That keeps the integrity of your layout for your particular resume. So if you send it in Word, let's say you send it in Word, or you send it even in Google like this from the Google Drive, you actually share it, because you can share it from Google Drive. But let's say you do that and you don't send it in PDF. So what happens when you have it in Word is, if they have Word on their machine, you could have spent all this time laying it out, and let's say you have a 1 inch on the top and a 1 inch on the bottom margin, and then ½ an inch on the side. That's yours. It looks beautiful. You've checked for typos. Everything is nice. You've got good spacing. You send it to somebody and their margins are set to a ½ an inch on top, a ½ an inch on the bottom, an inch on each side. All of a sudden you have broken sentences. You have space going everywhere. Things look really wonky. And to them, it is a reflection on how much you will care about this position. So keep the integrity of your document by sending it in PDF, portable document format. It also makes it nice and easy, because people can now access it if it's an attachment. It doesn't come across that maybe it could be a virus, because it's a portable document. It's in the smallest form that it can go, most compact, but still keeping the integrity of your document. Make sense to everybody? I hope that was helpful to you. Okay, so that's what you can do here. And again, there's a whole bunch of resumes you can use. Happy to, for those of you Google partners that are in the room, if your community needs any training on how to utilize Google Docs, I can come back and walk them through how to do that on the digital skills webinar. Okay, so this is how you get to Google Docs. You can get that way, like I showed you on the screen here, or you can go here to this URL. If you want to screenshot that and save that before you get a copy of today's slides, because remember what I said about 24 hours from now is when you'll get it. But if you want to already take a look at it, you might want to screenshot this so you already have that in front of you. Perfect, Tia, Renee, I'm glad it was helpful to you. All right. Next is to highlight the skills and accomplishments. Really focus on how you match what somebody's looking for, that job description. So when you highlight your skills and accomplishments, you want to eliminate those jobs that have nothing to do with this particular position. Not a biography, right? Highlight real. So you can include volunteer and part-time jobs, because especially if you're still ramping up and you're trying to develop that, or you've been out of the workforce and you're coming back in, you still have relevant skills. Even as a volunteer and a part-timer, it's still you. You're still the same person receiving all this great benefit, whether it's paid or not. So keep that in mind, and let's go through the next challenge. Good, I'm glad it was helpful, everybody. Thanks for the feedback and the question box. So let's go through this challenge. Remember, I read to you the sales representative position. The challenge here is, if you are a wait staff person, a cashier, how could you apply that job, what you're doing now, that job you're doing now, to this job description? Okay. So as we look at these, look here to the left. These are the potential positions. Is it important to add community work to your resume? Jemiah, it is, depending on the position, and depending on the company. For example, if I know, I'm going to play with HEB just because I know the company really well. I know HEB gets heavily involved in any city that they go to. Their company is highly civic oriented, and they like to be able to sponsor and become involved in events like stock show, rodeo. They're interested in supporting the agricultural community because they're a grocery store. So one of the things I might put there is, if I was ever a stock show rodeo assistant, if I ever supported it, if I helped fundraise for it, if in my position I didn't work with the stock show rodeo specifically as a volunteer, but at my position we helped kids with 4-H, or maybe we helped with cleaning up the community. If it aligned nicely with that particular company or that particular job. Does that make sense, Jemiah? All right, let's talk about these positions here and how they can apply to the sales representative position. See, as a wait staff, you actually have done upsells before, right? You said, hey, you know, now it's not that did you want fries with that, but you could have asked that question, but it could say, oh my gosh, you know what? You just had the wonderful salmon and it's wonderful to have a pecan pie afterwards. You got to try our pecan pie. So you could be a cashier who said, you know what, how was today? How was everything you experienced? Did you enjoy everything here? You could have done volunteer work like I was just sharing with Jemiah about how you raise funds for area businesses, from area businesses. That helps you because now you have local connections. Remember, a sales representative, whether you're a volunteer working with your PTA trying to fundraise or be able to sell cookies or popcorn, now you're out reaching out to the community and you have connections in that volunteer role that you can bring to the business role. We look for product expertise. A bank teller really knows what everything's back there besides just the checking and the savings, any loans, any percentages, what fits well, what are those personal loans that'll help you in time of crisis. Your babysitter job showcases that you took on responsibility. You handled it. You know what to do. You know how to be able to schedule things too. And freelance blogging, you've negotiated rates. Negotiation skills are huge, especially in the sales representative position. Make sense to everybody how those actually connect? Now, let me give you a big hint, a time saver. And one of the first ways you can get to know Google Docs if you've not used it before is start a document from scratch. Remember what I said, you can start a blank document. So you don't have to use the template gallery. That's just easy there if you need a layout already created for you, and you can customize any of the colors and the fonts once you have it brought into your Google Drive. But bring a blank sheet up and just do a brain dump, everybody. Think about every position you've ever had, because you've got to get this out of your system and all the details done now. Remember what I said very much earlier, that when a position becomes available, timing is everything. Remember what I said about the first 15 minutes for the web developer is when that's the only resumes that we looked at, even though the job position was open for a week. That's the only resumes because we're busy. The intent is, yes, you're going to look at everybody for a whole week, but then life happens, business happens, and you only get to the first 15 minutes worth of resumes. So you need to do a brain dump of all your work experience, all your volunteer experience. Go into great detail. Find out those hours, the months. Find out, how much did you sell? What did you do? All of the detail, and put it here. Do a brain dump of work experience, because when the position becomes available, you see that opportunity. Now all you need to do is copy and paste from here and add it to your customized resume for that position. And that's how you can be able to submit a resume within 2 minutes of seeing a position open, and you can be there in that first time window when a recruiter is even wondering, or a decision maker is wondering, does this job description make sense? Does it click? Let me see if anybody's interested. You're showing up when their attention is most focused. Make sense to everybody? What if I'm transitioning from one line of career to a new line of career? Absolutely. If you're transitioning from one to the other, not to worry, pick out the relevant experience. Remember, some of those are relevant. You may not have ever been a sales representative, but you spoke with people on the phone. You've got great organizational skills. You understand the importance of starting, ending meetings on time. You've led meetings. You've met face-to-face with customers, and you have follow-up. That may not be even what you've done in an actual position. Maybe you did that as a volunteer, just saying thank you for donating and working with us. You mentioned that you should remove relevant info from your resume. This may result in gaps. Yes, Mary, because gaps are addressed in the application. This is the highlight reel. Do not confuse the application with the resume. Resume is the highlight reel. Application is the detail of everything, gaps included. Make sense? You don't want to bring that up here in the resume, because this is the highlight reel, and we all know it's the highlight reel. Especially when you're hiring, we know that this is your best work. These are the high points of how you're supposed to connect. And everything of what you present will tell us whether or not you take a lot of pride in what you do, you research, you make sure that it matches well. Perfect, Renee, awesome. Site-specific examples too, this is important. For example, with Asha, you see there's specific projects that she mentions here, but let's go a little bit further and see if we can go into some great detail. So let's pick this apart for a minute. For example, you could say that you're a team lead of a big box store. So you managed a team, trained new employees, ran meetings, sold more for the sales target. That matches with this job description. But now let's give it a little bit more oomph, right? Managed a team. Managed a team of 8 employees, from new hires to 15-year company members. That's huge. There's a huge skill set when you are bringing in more than just one employee, especially when you're mixing somebody brand new with somebody who's been there for a while. You know, you run into a whole bunch of different dynamics. So that shows a lot of breadth and width of this experience. They train new employees, but here they talk about they trained 15 new employees and also documented an onboarding program. So understand, remember what I said about leaving an actual experience to somebody's own experience in their background. Let's be specific and really pull out what it is that we deliver that really resounds and does fit with what they're looking for. Ran weekly team meetings. So ran meetings effectively, 20 attendees. That's much better than one person. You're just meeting with one person. And they exceeded the sales target, not just by $1, but by 20%. So they go into great detail here. You'll see that coming up as we even talk about volunteer experience. Remember what I said, it's still the same person. So you serve meals to a shelter, you served to over 200 shelter residents over 6 months. So you weren't just there for, you know, I'm here for Thanksgiving and that's it, I'm never showing up again. You were consistent over 6 months. You also helped them not just organize a holiday event, so you didn't just put up the Christmas tree or decide where it's gonna go, you actually obtained $2,000 from local businesses. I can now see you've got some connections that could be valuable, and you know how to make connections and stay in relationship with people, which is also important, okay? So the last thing you want to do is tailor that resume to the job description. Remember, not the biography, this is your highlight reel, so it needs to match. And I did tell you that I would let you know how to be able to use those filters that are also happening digitally. So as you look at the resume, you're going to look for keywords. There are certain keywords that the programs are looking for before they'll pass the resume on to even where somebody, a decision maker, can see. So as we look at this, we really need to pay attention to what some of the keywords are that are mentioned here. And understand that as we were uploading the job description for the web developer that I told you a couple of weeks ago, I looked everything, you know, completely at this. In fact, not just me, but the director above me, the president of the company, everybody looked at this job description to make sure it was really saying what we needed. So those keywords were coming across. Here, start looking at the keywords and get really good at being able to identify those. Manage, identify, they're usually action verbs: locate, expand, design, deliver, preside, build, maintain, meet, or exceed. Those are the certain keywords that are being tagged right here in this particular job description. So you want that to show up in your resume, or if you don't, it's not going to pass through. So the review, we covered a lot of things today. I know I've overwhelmed you, so take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, because you learned a lot of brand new things today. And the big thing here is, what are you going to apply? We talked about the professional resume format, highlighting your skills and experience, really showcasing what it is that you know and what you can deliver to them by citing different examples to and measurable details, plus tailoring the resume to that job description. That's very important. The key here, though, is to remember to do that brain dump. This is going to save you so much time if you do this now. There's nothing worse than you see an opportunity come up and you're like, oh, great, let me pull out that experience. Okay, did I work there in August? Was it August 2021 or August 2020? Was it September? What was that supervisor's name? What's their contact phone number and their email address if I need to use that for the application? Now you're in this process, and sometimes people even are sidetracked and they go down memory lane, and it takes them a long time to refocus. Now you've got everything ready to go. This is actually what professional organizers teach, that you put everything together. We see it at a 5-year-old kindergarten room. We see discovery centers where there's the kitchen center, the music center. It's because it's easier to find things and put things away, all making it more streamlined and faster. You're doing that for yourself here too. How many years back should you go in experience? Caroline, to whatever applies to the actual position. To whatever applies to the actual position for the resume. Now, in the actual job description or in the actual application, it depends on what they've asked for. If they've asked for your entire job, your entire work history, put your entire work history. But for the resume, you're going to only focus on the things that pertain to that. So that might jump around a little bit. That's why a lot of times on a resume, I will not put years. I will not put the years in there because I don't want to showcase that these different years. In fact, I've been a marketing director at 7 different companies, but I might highlight the skill of marketing director and then put all that I learned from there. But in the application, I'll talk about the 7 companies. I won't even talk about it in the resume, okay? Because if somebody's going to think that I job hop, even though it's like 5 years at different companies, or even 10 years at a different company, if they're going to think I job hop, I want to be there in person when they have that question. So I don't want that resume trying to do that for me, because its job is just to get them to say, tell me more. All right. Remember, you can also track every step. There is Google Sheets within your actual free personal Gmail account or Google account. You can use Google Sheets, which works just like Excel. Google Docs works just like Word. If you know the Word program, you know Google Docs. If you know Excel, you know Google Sheets. But now you can start tracking everything here. And I go into depth more about how to track your actual job search process in powering your job search with Google tools. Let's see, I've got a question here. In the past, we tailored the cover letter and included it with the resume by tailoring the resume to each job application. Do we then omit a cover letter? No, no, no. Every opportunity that you can show that you're a good fit, Rochelle. It's just that some digitally, for some applications, they won't allow a cover letter. Some do, some don't. So don't rely just on the cover letter. The cover letter just gives you an additional opportunity to say, hey, I saw this job description. This is how I fit. I think I'm a perfect fit for you. And then you end it with, I look forward to talking to you more about my personal experience or my background experience and how this would benefit your position. You sign off. Anything like that is just more powerful ways that you can show up at top of mind for the person making the decision. Okay, Rochelle, great questions though. Remember, if you need to create a portfolio also, there are Google Slides there if you are a graphic or web designer, not specific for this position unless you're doing a pitch deck, which is you're pitching a position or pitching a product, because there are some sales representative positions where they'll ask you to pitch a product. You can create a portfolio on Google Slides that's also free in your Google tools, all there in that app keypad, that app waffle. Google Slides works just like PowerPoint, okay? This is your next steps if you want to take a quick screenshot of that, but we're a minute before time. So do you have any questions before we sign off? Okay, let me know and take a screenshot of that if you need that. Let me move my pointer out of the way. But if you have any questions, ask in the question box. I do want to give a shout out to our Google partners, because they are there for you if you have specific questions or need help or need another set of eyes just to review your resume and make sure you've not made any typos. And that's the LSC Tumble Community Library, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. So we've got Omicron, Tau, Omega here. We have Alpha Kappa Omega chapter, Alpha Alpha Nu Omega chapter. We have the Beta Psi Omega chapter, and the Goodwill Industries of Fort Worth, the Workforce Solutions of Tarrant County, and the Estes Casita branch of the Harris County Public Library is here too. So please reach out to them. Let's see, any other questions? Awesome, I'm glad it was helpful, everybody. Helpful. Thank you again you're very, very welcome, Mary. I'm so wonderful, it's so wonderful to work with you once again. Now think about this. So as you look at those next steps, what are you going to apply? Because knowledge is not powerful at all unless it's applied. My friend Jo says it best when she says, knowledge is knowing that the tomato is a fruit. Applied knowledge is not putting it in your fruit salad. So what are you going to apply? And make sure the last hour you've spent has been an investment in you getting the job of your dreams. All right, let's see what questions we have here. I would like to receive a copy. Oh, absolutely. You've come into here, so you'll get a copy. Just remember that it takes about 24 hours for the actual system to render. Let me stop the screen. Actually, I'm going to stop the recording